Hey guys, it's Marble Tyler here from STG, and today's the big day. Today Battlefront 2 came out. So it's exciting, it's very controversial. Actually, it only came out if you pre-ordered the game, which in itself is weird and I guess you could say controversial, because if I pre-ordered the game today, I get the game today, so it's not really a pre-order. I don't know, it's a little weird trying to figure that one out. But, so today's the big day, and of course, it's Star Wars Battlefront 2 is made by DICE, who makes beautiful, beautiful, awesome sounding games. And so today it has the wow factor, where we get in, it's like, oh my god, like the droids, Kashyyyk, the new era, the First Order, like all of it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's cool, and you feel like you're in the Star Wars. Well, now it's time to analyze that a little bit. Why is there the wow factor? What is going on in this game? And so first of all, DICE is a very talented team. They're spread out between a couple of games. They obviously make Battlefield, they make this, they've made Mirror's Edge and a couple other games in the past. But looking at the graphics, the arenas are authentic and just extremely detailed. And that's what really sets this this wow factor in play. This is what helps us, oh my god, this is amazing. So, in a lot of cases, for example, for the first game, they've even gone to the actual filming sites of the movies to get, what was the layout, what did it look like? The colors, the textures, what makes this look like Star Wars and feel like Star Wars. It's because of this, and because of, for example, looking at the files from A New Hope, or, even looking at The Phantom Menace, you look at Naboobat. They're looking at, hey, what did they use, and let's just take straight from that. So the backdrops are beautiful. I played on Yavin 4, played on Hoth. You see the ships in the air, you see the giant castle or whatever that you can fight inside of on Yavin 4. You see all kinds of great Star Wars stuff, and it really immerses you, and that's the goal, is taking these authentic, locations, backdrops, effects, and later on sound design, which we'll talk about more, and just implementing them to make you feel like you're in the Star Wars. And one of the biggest things I want to highlight real quick, and we want to look at the graphics in terms of what happens as you play. So if you look here, I'm playing as a stormtrooper, and as these explosions happen and all this action happens, just like in Battlefield 1, we'll switch over real quick, look at Battlefield 1 here, and then there you go, I get in the mud, it gets all dirt and dirty and all this other stuff, and my gun's kind of nasty. I mean, it doesn't affect gameplay, but gun's looking rough. Switching back to Star Wars, clean stormtrooper, explosions happen, action happens, and now I'm a dirty stormtrooper. I got dirt on me. It works for the third person, so it makes it, when you're looking at your third person character, you can see the effects of the battle, and that's just something that immerses you so well. It's really cool. It's a technical achievement that only DICE, as of late, only DICE is really hitting that kind of strive, and it's beautiful. Moving on to sound design, they, just like the first game, again, DICE is amazing. They went and took authentic Star Wars sound effects, even taking some and implementing them straight from the movies into the game, obviously adding their own little effects to make it, obviously you want to hear a blaster from far away sound different than one right next to you. But it feels lively when the action's happening. You hear explosions, you hear blasters, you hear all this cool stuff. The TIE Fighter, distinctive sounds. All of them are authentic, all of them sound awesome. And this game has an automatic win because it takes that
"Watch those wrist rockets!"
sound from the classic one. It takes that classic line and it puts it in this game, obviously making it sound a little more modern than 10 years ago. Sounds amazing, plays awesome. 10 out of 10, the sound design, like, holy crap, it feels like Star Wars, it looks like Star Wars, and that's what really embodies the wow factor. And so I'm going to get a little technical on you. We're going to look at the resolution and the FPS and how are these games running. So first of all, PC's PC. If you got a beefy PC, you're doing fine. It's very comparable to Battlefield 1, so if you're doing well for Battlefield 1, you're going to be doing well for Battlefront 2. There's not, I don't want to say there's not a difference, but I mean, you're using Frostbite 3, I believe it's Frostbite 3, but you're using a Frostbite engine, you're implementing, a DICE game. There's not going to be too much difference between Battlefield 1 and Battlefront 2, graphics-wise for your PCs. Now, we are talking about the new console, Xbox One X, just dropped last week, it's in the news all over, is it better than the PS4 Pro? Who does what? How does it play? So first of all, both PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, both those mid-generation upgrades, use checkerboarding. This game is very intensive, and truthfully, even with Xbox One X's, improved, I guess, graphical capabilities, it's still kind of hard for them to run native 4K for something like this, which, I mean, it's respectable. A DICE game on a $500 console. Game looks great, and I can't fault them. I mean, checkerboarding, realistically, if you're looking side by side, checkerboarding is where they kind of overlap several things and kind of make fake 4K instead of running native 4K, in case you aren't aware. Native 4K is when everything is just shown at you straight 4K. So it's not noticeable unless you're comparing side by side. Both of them use checkerboarding. The PS4 Pro really hovers around 1440p, so you're kind of, you got that upgrade over 1080 by all means. If you're a PS4 Pro user, you're pretty happy. It's above 1080. It's running around 60 frames, doesn't really dip too much. It scales down when the action gets really intense. As you can expect, they want to maintain that frame rate as opposed to the graphics. And it's not going to drop to 720 by any means. You're still going to stay above 1080. It might drop down to 1080 in the most intense moments, but PS4 Pro, you're staying pretty consistent above 1080. Now, the Xbox One X, of course, is the big thing. And all the footage you're seeing here on this gameplay here is Xbox One X recorded. Of course, it's in 1080 as opposed to the 4K. I'm running on the Elgato right now, so it's only 1080, 60. But look at the Xbox One X. When it is running through a 4K screen or 4K recording, it is very comparable to the PC's high and ultra settings. I don't know the comparison from the PS4 Pro, but it's the assets and textures are very comparable to high/ultra on the PC side of things. It stays 4K until the extreme intense moments, so even in standard firefights with multiple characters, it still remains pretty much at 4K. It might dip just very slightly, but it remains at 4K until it gets, extremely intense. So you got ships and all these explosions happening. And it is almost constantly 60 FPS. I haven't experienced it dip. I know it will dip occasionally, but it's very, very rare. The Xbox One X is very technically impressive and does a wonderful, wonderful job. Now, just to look at the, of course, original Xbox One or the Xbox One S, and then the PS4, the standard versions, those both run very well, very good as well, I guess. I mean, you're running at, for Xbox One users, you're running at about 980p, and it dips down to 900p, so you're not hitting that 1080, you're above 720, which is a good standard to be at least above that. As for the standard PS4 users, I mean, you're looking at about 1080p. It's going to remain there when things are calm, when there's a lot of running, some light combat. Once you get to see some explosions, some starships in there, some crazy action, it will dip all the way down to 920p at times. But both the Xbox One and the standard PS4, they do a pretty good job at staying between that. They aim for 50 to 60 frames per second. Occasionally you will see it go all the way down to 40, but I haven't really seen or heard about anything too far below that. But yeah, guys, check back to STG. We're going to have all kinds of Battlefront 2, the controversy, the graphics, the collectibles, everything in it. Check back and see you soon.